مرحبا. اليوم سنتكلم عن الشدة. So if you would like to follow along, we are going to be on page 92 in the book. We're moving on to unit 5 and we're covering, let's put the pen on. We are covering a symbol today, and that symbol is the shadda. So let's review a little bit. We have done 3 harakat, which are our short vowels. We did the fatha, making the a sound, dhamma, u, and kasra, e. Okay? Those are our short vowels. The opposite of our short vowels is the sukoon, which is going to stop the sound. So, now we're learning a new symbol, and that symbol's name is shadda. The function of the shadda is very simple. It's going to double the letter it sits on, so that that letter is now going to be pronounced twice. Okay? So I will give you several examples. So if you look at listening exercise 1 on the bottom of page 92, let's look at number 1. Okay, so in number 1, the word on the right, take a second and read it to yourself. Ta, ji, du. Tajidu. You have ta with a fatha, ta. Jim has a kasra, ji. Dal has dhamma, du. Ta, ji, du. Okay? Now, when I put a shadda on a letter, that means we're going to emphasize that letter and pronounce it twice. So in this case, the first 2 letters are still the same. Ta with a fatha, ta. Jim kasra, ji. Ta, ji. But now I have a dal with a shadda. So we're going to pronounce it tajiddu. What we end up doing is pronouncing that dal twice. Tajiddu. Literally what happens is you end up pausing slightly on the letter that has the shadda, tajid, and then pronouncing that letter again, du. Noticing that we have here on top a dhamma of the shadda. So on top of the shadda, we have a dhamma. So that tells you the second time you pronounce that letter, how do you pronounce it with the u sound? Tajiddu. Let's look at another example. Okay. So if you look at number 5, look at number 5 in your book. Number 5, the first one you should be able to read. There's only 3 fathahs, so it's very simple. Kha, ra, ja. The fatha makes the a sound, so kha, ra, ja. Kharaja. Now what we did is we ended up putting the shadda on top of the ra. So we're going to pronounce this letter twice. Kharaja. 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 Another way to think about this is when you have a shadda, you're really pronouncing it as if you're stopping first, as if there's a sukoon there. You're stopping on the letter, and then you're pronouncing it with a vowel. Okay? Now, we can't put a vowel on top of a sukoon because a sukoon is a stop. So this symbol, shadda, allows us to do that. It allows us to pronounce it twice by pausing first on the letter and then pronouncing it a second time. So let's do another example. There's a letter we haven't done yet, but that's okay. I want us to just focus on the sound. So this first one, darasa. In a minute, we're going to do this S sound, darasa. When I put a shadda here on the ra, I now end up pausing on the ra, dar, and then pronouncing the ra a second time, this time with the fatha. Darrasa. Darrasa. So you're pronouncing that ra twice. Versus this one is just da, ra, sa. Okay. Now, the shadda will always come with a vowel, unless it's on the last letter of a word. So you'll see the shadda with the fatha. You can see the shadda with a dhamma. you can see it with a kasra. And if it has a kasra, it'll be underneath the shadda. You can also have a letter that has shadda and it's followed by an alif. Or a letter that has shadda and it's followed by a waw. And a letter that has shadda and it's followed by a ya. And that is because the second time you pronounce the letter, these vowels, whether they're short or they're long, will tell you how to pronounce the shadda the second time you pronounce it. So let's look at some examples. You're going to write down the word khabbaz. 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 In this word, you start with the kha, and we have a fatha on it because it's the a sound, short. It's not kha, but just kha. Now the next letter that you have is a ba. And we're not saying khabaz, we're saying khabbaz. I'm pausing on the B sound. Khabbaz. So because it's being pronounced twice and stressed, we're going to put a shadda on it. Now focus on the second time you hear that sound. What vowel sound does it make? Khabbaz. Ba makes the ah sound. So we're going to follow it with an alif and then end with a zay. So the sound that you're making is khabbaz. Khabbaz is baker. Okay? Khabbaz. Okay, let's do another one. Excuse me. Let's do uhibbu. Uhibbu. We're going to start this with an u sound. And remember the u sound starts with a hamza. Anytime you have a, u, e in the beginning of a word, it'll always be a hamza. And anytime you have hamza in the beginning of a word, it will always sit on an alif. So u. Okay. And then we are going to continue it. Ha has a kasra here. Uhibbu. That last letter, we're pronouncing it twice. I'm not saying uhibbu, just short. Uhibbu. And we have a shadda on the ba. Because I'm pronouncing it twice. I'm saying uhibbu. So when we have two letters like this, instead of writing the letter twice, we just make it easier in Arabic by just putting a symbol, the shadda. Uhibbu. Ba is a little bit difficult when it has shadda because it's a little bit difficult to stress a letter that you're making with your lips. Uhibbu. Now, the second time I pronounce the ba, I'm pronouncing it bu. So I put a dhamma on it. Uhibbu. This is a vocab word for I love or I like. So now you can tell yourself a sentence using uhibbu, I love or I like. Uhibbu khubz, I like bread. Uhibbu akhi, I like my dad. My brother. If it was my dad, abi. So I like. This verb we are going to come back to. This is a present tense verb. We're going to come back and learn how to change it for different people. But for now, uhibbu. Let's do one more. We'll do two more actually. Let's do thabbit. Thabbit. And just realize that all of these examples are ba with a shadda. So after that, I'll give you an example of a different letter. Thabbit. Tha, ba, and ta. If it was just a kasra here, it'd be thabit. But I want to put some extra stress on this ba. Thabbit. That's the shadda. Thabbit. Pronouncing it twice. And when you put a shadda on a word, it changes the meaning of the word. So letters that are strung together and don't have shadda, they'll have one meaning. If you add a shadda, it'll change the meaning. Now, when you have shadda with the kasra, you can write it like this. This is a very classical way of writing it. The other way that you can write it, which is a little bit easier, is you just put the kasra underneath the shadda. Okay? So just like this, you put the kasra underneath. So if you have a shadda and there's a kasra underneath it, that means it's a kasra. Even though it's written above the letter, it's below the shadda. So it just makes it easier to look at it so that you don't have to look above and below the letter. So if it's fatha, it'll be above. If it's dhamma, it's above. If it's kasra, it's below. Okay, let's do a different one. يتزوج. 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 Now, normally when we have the O sound, we said that we have a fatha and a waw with the sukoon, right? But here, I'm not saying yatazawj, I'm saying yatazawwaj. I'm pausing here, yatazaw, and then I'm pronouncing the waw again, waj. So when I have that letter twice, instead of writing it twice, we'll write a shadda. And when I pronounce it the second time, it's with the a sound, yatazawwa. So we put a fatha on top of it. Yatazawwaj. Okay. And yatazawwaj means he marries or is marrying. So let's say the baker, I'll say the baker or my baker is marrying my sister. Awkward. Okay. So we have the word khabbazi. يتزوج أختي. My baker is marrying my sister. Remember that you can change the order of the words. You can put here's your subject, here's your verb. You could switch this. You could say يتزوج خبازي أختي, and that would make sense as well. Okay. So now what you are going to do is the online drills from Unit 5 that are due have some really good practice with identifying the shadda. So they'll say words, and you'll have to identify whether or not you hear a shadda. So remember, when you hear a shadda, that letter is going to be pronounced twice. Okay, not just once, but twice. So for instance, if I was to say ذاكر, ذاكر, none of those letters are being paused on and pronounced a second time. But if I said شدد, شدد, the da here is being pronounced twice. So you're going to do the online drills and practice with the shadda. Make sure that you write some notes on this, as well as the sentences that we wrote, the words that we wrote down, and any of the new vocab words. So we've got khabbaz here, we've got I love, and we have yatazawwaj.